Okay. There hasn't been a trade like this that's made me react like this in quite some time, so we are gonna just hop right into it. Hi, I'm a hockey fan. I root for the Penguins, even though they're terrible. Um, and I've been watching hockey since 2017. Yeah, 2017. But there hasn't been a trade that's made me react like this in quite some time, so let's just hop into it. The big fish in the trade, obviously, is Mikko Rantanen going from the Colorado Avalanche to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Chicago Blackhawks are involved in there as well, but we'll get into it. First and foremost, shout out to Puckpedia on Twitter. I'm never calling it X. X is stupid. But yeah, on Twitter, Puckpedia has all the details. I'm looking at it right now. So shout out to them. Let's just get right into it, and I'll give my thoughts as we go along. Carolina Hurricanes are receiving from Colorado Mikko Rantanen, obviously the big fish in this deal. And I just can't fathom this from Colorado's perspective. Mikko Rantanen is currently 6th in the league in points with 64 points in 49 games. And his line mate, Nathan MacKinnon, is 1st in the league in points. And when you're trying to win a Stanley Cup now, when you're trying to win one this year, you typically don't trade the player that is 6th in the league in points. You just don't. So, the only thing I can think of is if Rantanen had already told Colorado, hey, I'm going to want this much money, and it just happened to be too much, or he said straight up, I am not re-signing with you guys. That is the only thing I can think of. Now, what is important to note is that Rantanen, Carolina is only paying half of his salary because Chicago, the third team in this deal, which again we'll get to later, is actually retaining 50% of his salary, $4.625 million to be exact. So that's something to keep in mind. And of course, Chicago ended up getting paid to do so, getting a draft pick. But again, we'll get into that later. Now, here's the part I don't understand. From Chicago, Carolina received Taylor Hall and a prospect named Nils Juntorp, who I've never heard of. Taylor Hall, of course, he's a brand name, being first overall pick back in 2010. He's currently the 5th leading scorer on the Blackhawks, but that's not really saying much because the Blackhawks are an absolute disaster. Oh my god, it's so bad over there. I am so sorry, Connor Bedard. But yeah, they brought in Taylor Hall to hopefully help out Connor Bedard, get him comfortable in the league. And I mean, they were paying him $6 million. It's a contract dump at the end of the day. Now, what is Carolina losing in return? They are losing Martin Necas, Jack Drury, 2025 second round, 2025 third round pick, and a 2026 fourth round pick. And of course, they added $2.4 million to their cap. Because of course they got Taylor Hall and they got Mikko Rantanen for half price. Overall, I think this is a good deal for Carolina. In all honesty, they are trying to win a cup now. They obviously tried really hard last year, trading for Jake Gensel at the deadline. I still miss you, Gensel. Still miss you so much. But obviously it didn't work out. They got bounced in the second round to the Rangers in 6. But yeah, they're trying to win a cup now, and they are going all in order to do so. for the Avalanche. In return for trading away Mikko Rantanen, getting rid of his $9.25 million cap hit, they get, in return, Martin Necas, Jack Drury, and the aforementioned 2025 second and 2026 fourth. Now, first and foremost, I want to say this. Martin Necas is playing some of, if not the best hockey of his career. Straight up. However, to give up Mikko Rantanen in the deal, I still find absolutely unbelievable. Of course, the only thing Colorado lost was Mikko Rantanen, which, again, huge loss for them. I just can't believe it on Colorado's end, man. I just cannot. Like, I understand you got a lot back. I'm not saying they didn't. They definitely got a lot back. But, man, with the situation they're in, trying to win a Stanley Cup now, it'd be one thing if, say, you were on the fringes of the playoff race, but, and I understand right now they are in a wild card spot, not super comfortably at that, but, like, they could still very easily make the playoffs. I mean, they completely redid their goaltending. Nathan MacKinnon, of course, is still an absolute monster. And you had Rantanen scoring, as I mentioned earlier, 64 points in 49 games. But I digress. Overall, they save $1.025 million. So I think that was a big reason why they did it, is to, save cap. And maybe they can use that cap somewhere else. Maybe get like a third pairing defenseman, fourth line. Who knows? And now the third team in the deal. I genuinely have no idea what Chicago was thinking here. I have no idea. Chicago gets a 2025 third round pick, which of course is from Carolina, and they retain $4.625 million on Mikko Rantanen's contract. So they essentially get a third round pick in order to retain that salary. And then of course they lose the $6 million on Hall, and they get rid of a prospect in Nils Juntorp. And overall they saved $1.375 million. Now, I understand that you kind of needed to trade Taylor Hall because he has a big contract and Chicago is not going anywhere anytime soon. So you kind of needed to get rid of him, but I feel like I understand why they did it. I just don't know if doing it in this deal was necessarily the right move. Because you already got the third round pick for retaining salary. Why not just trade Taylor Hall later to another team, right? Or heck, if you really wanted to trade him to the Hurricanes, why not get some more in return for Taylor Hall? Like maybe a prospect or something. Because I do find it weird that they're not getting a prospect. Of course, yes, they are getting the draft pick, which will inevitably turn into a prospect. But why not get an immediate prospect in the Kane system if they're trying to win now? That I don't understand, but I digress. Those are just my immediate thoughts. Of course, being a Penguins fan, I have no horse in this race. My team is terrible, so I'll be sitting from the couch. But that's it for now.